When I went live on YouTube showing off that I got the Juggernaut, I got a lot of nasty looks, a lot of nasty things, and people were calling me a hypocrite. But I wouldn't say so because I told y'all wait for it to go on sale. I found on eBay it was about $130 shipped, and I said, you know what? That's worth it because I can do a review, I can do live streams, I can talk about this and make it sort of worth something. But even with that being said, I wanted to still ask the question, at $130 for you guys, is it still worth it? That's about $40 off depending on what tax is in your state. For me, it would be about $168, $169 if you bought it retail plus tax. So for me, $130 shipped, $40 off. Is the Juggernaut worth it? And that's what we're asking today. We're going to do a little review. I'm going to talk about it. And then once it's all done with, I'll let you know. Do I think it's worth it for this much? So stay tuned to the end of the video to find out. But as always, let's start with the minifigures. Of course, the first figure you get is just a plain B1 battle droid. You get 3 of them. Of course, they've been coming with the gray, like silver gray blaster that they've been putting on the droids. I don't know what started that, but I do like the little variety in the blasters. Otherwise, nothing special. Then we get Ki-Adi-Mundi, who is very much a nice figure, but no matter how you look at it, it is a very, very similar to the old version of his character. So if you did get it in that battle pack back in the day, there is nothing to be super excited about with this one. But if you don't have them, it's a very good rendition of the figure. Just for me, not a figure I'm excited about. But one figure I'm much more excited about is our boy Commander Bakara, because I'm not gonna lie, these helmets, the helmet mold on this very much works for me. I think they absolutely nailed his character design. And, of course, a little bit of waistcloth would be very nice, and it would make this figure one of the best ones we've gotten in ages. But as it stands, I still think it's pretty solid. And the same thing can be said about this guy, the Galactic Marines. But at the end of the day, I think even without the waistcloth, this is still one of the best clone figures we've gotten in a very, very long time. The dual molded helmet is absolutely perfect. It's exactly what it needed. And the backpack, the printing on the legs, the printing on the body, absolutely perfect on these guys. And I will give them that. Putting 3 in this set is a great plus. But when it comes to the actual Juggernaut, this is indeed where it lacks a bit. I do have to say, I kind of do like the undercarriage look of this design. I don't think any of the other 3 had it, so it is a nice little touch, even though, as you can see, in some places, it's just a little bit fragile. Like, it ends up falling apart when you just knock it in the wrong way, which a lot of people talk about. It is very fragile. There is one thing I do gotta say. I do like the fact that there is this peg here that can latch it into place. So when it moves, the whole side doesn't come down on its own, which would be super annoying considering all these sections aren't separated like they are in every other turbo tank. Other things I noticed that I haven't really seen before is how sort of loose this is, and how the fact that it can kind of just fall on the inside even when it's facing straight on. There's only a couple small little gaps that can actually just hold this on, and yeah, it works well for playability where you can just kind of go into it and put the figures in. Plus, it does give you a lot of seating space, I'll give it that. This little sort of watchtower, normally you kind of pull them up and then they block themselves with something at the bottom. This one, no, there's nothing preventing it from pulling itself up. It just completely pull it right out. Maybe that's just the fact that the turbo tank that I always keep on my display, the 2010 one, doesn't have one of these. But honestly, it's just kind of funny how it's only like a 6-piece design for the entire thing that just pops out. But it doesn't also help the fact that it just does look stupid. Like, it's just not a good little play feature. So honestly, could have just done without. I don't think anyone would have complained or even noticed if it wasn't in the front. Other thing I noticed that the other ones had is that these don't come down, which I think is very annoying. And of course you can have something there. But in all the other turbo tanks, they fit something in this little section. So not having a little, like, I don't know, command center or like anything gun rack, that's just something that's missing on this. I do gotta say the sand blue accents are nice on the wheels, but the fact that like 1/5 or 1/6 of the entire set is building the wheels says something about the fact that this is already a tiny set. Sticker detailing is fine. The fact it's actually see-through is a little interesting, even though it's not like the most perfect see-through, because they use like these blue pieces that have the studs on top to actually kind of connect them together. But either way, they were going to see through the back because there's gaps in the build. I do think it's interesting how easy it could have been to just make this piece something that could fold down. And I also feel with the space there is, they could have figured out how to put 2 people in the front. Like every other turbo tank, I believe, could fit 2 people in the front or back, depending on how people view with how the turbo tank is. Is this the front? Is this the back? I haven't noticed the thing where, like, there's the famous video of him grabbing it like this and the whole thing crumbling. And it's a bit more stable than people gave it credit for. One thing I have noticed, I have had these things detach from these pieces, but that's not the most noticeable thing. Of course, grabbing it from up here is going to make it fall apart because it's only connected by a few studs. But I still have really yet to have, oh, there we go. There we go. That's how it falls apart. Okay. Oh, it's because interesting. So that's how it falls apart. All right. Not the craziest of repair jobs, only took me a couple minutes, but it is still annoying that can happen, and that's very interesting how the first time I experienced it was when doing the recording. The outside of the model is very decent. I do like kind of how this is tiled off, while this is sort of more brick built. The magic wands is sort of details. It's decent. It's a decent design for the thing. It's just small. And when it comes to this price, you hope it isn't small. So that's where the real problems come in. So now the question you've all been waiting for. Do I think the Juggernaut is worth it at $130? And I'll be honest with you guys, no. It was kind of a case of multiple things. Figures are fine. Kiadi Mundi, the fact that he isn't too much different from his old version, kind of dropped it down a little bit. But also the fact that the vehicle is just tiny. No way around it. It is just tiny. And the fact of the matter as well is, I finished this in about 2.5 hours. A build that takes only 2-3 hours to build should not be something you're spending this much money on. The amount of fun, like, compacted and compared to the amount of money you spend, definitely isn't worth it. So what I'd say is wait for you find like a 40% off clearance. That makes it about 100, 110, about $20 less than I paid for it. I think I would be happy with my purchase. But at the moment, well, you know what? The Galactic Marine's great. The car is perfectly good. At the end of the day, I was going to buy this set anyways to get the clones that I wanted because I wasn't spending $80 on just the 2 figures alone. But yes, what do you think of this set? Did you end up buying it yet? And at what price do you think this is worth it? Subscribe for weekly shorts and multiple regular videos a week, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.